All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the morning brief. Today is a Monday, August 24th. Big day in the Anchor Star household, obviously, because we now have a 16-year-old. So she's going to go get her driver's license a little bit later this morning. So I'm going to leave you a few minutes early, probably about 8:45 or so my time. I'll need to get going to get over there for her. So exciting news. Also exciting news. Welcome to our newest squadron member, Eagle. I'll go through a few things differently this morning than I will normally, just to make sure you're up to speed. So the first of all is, welcome to the Brief Invest with Military Precision. That's what we're doing this morning. Please make sure to use a call sign. I gave you Eagle this morning. Whenever you log in tomorrow, you can either pick that or change it to Eagle or whatever you want for out there. But on your chat window, you need to have the question and answer open, and you need to have the chat open and off to the side. And then on the question and answer, you'll need to have all attendees. So we've said a few things to you this morning. Let's see, Eagle, it says you're still set to all panelists. So go ahead and click to at the bottom. There's a blue thing to where it says all panelists and attendees at the bottom. That way you can see all of the chat that's in there. Okay. All right, our mission objectives, the rest of it is a fighter pilot style brief in the morning. Mission objectives is to grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. Our tactical objective today is Apple. Apple and the stock split coming up. Today's the record date, meaning if you have an Apple share, your share is now on the books attached to you. And assuming you still hold that share on August 31st, that share will then become 4 shares at 1/4 the price. So again, mentally, you're taking a $20 bill and you're cashing in for 4 $5 bills. Does that make the stock run up? It sure does. It was up to 515 was the high I saw this morning. So kind of crazy. So we'll talk about that, which is, growing our money. And then the question of the day is when to sell a stock, right? There has to be a point at which you sell. So we're going to talk about some of the reasons that you sell. And I'm not telling you to sell Apple. I'm just saying that's a discussion that we can have this morning. As far as our flow today, we're going to go long, short, open, short, long. And what that means to everyone is we're going to focus on long-term investing first. We're going to go through a market review, headline review through CNBC, talk about what's in play today. Then within 10 minutes of the open, we're going to switch and put our day trading hat on. Not trying to talk you into day trading, just saying that we're going to go through some day trades because there's definitely a time to do that. And then we'll walk through our trades. If you have trade ideas, put them in the chat. You'll hear me talking about several. You can take a trade with me if you want. And with that trade, you can either say, hey, either take it real money or in a paper account, which means go through your brokerage, get a fake money account to where you can trade in, fake dollars, but you can do all the switches and everything and go through and learn from it. Or you can just follow along, which is, of course, just fine. And I know several squadron members just follow along. They aren't really that interested in day trading, but they're going to follow the mentality and they can see how it's done. So then at the end, we transition back to the long. So once the day trades, we either work or they don't. Today's a tough day because the market's up, but they either work or they don't, and we move on back to long-term stuff. As far as the Q&A, you can ask any question you want. It doesn't have to be related to what we're talking about today. So say maybe you're a private investor in Zoom stock, and you might say, hey, what do you think is EM? I'll pull up the chart, we'll take a look, and we'll go from there. So that is our flow for today. And we'll finish with the question of the day, when to sell a stock. For contingencies, I have the chat room is open and I can take your questions. So any tech support that you need, steve@ototnow.com is where you need to go, and we will get your questions answered, as well as standard disclaimer applies. This is an educational only presentation, so you have to do your own due diligence before you act on anything you hear this morning. All right, with that, let's go ahead and cover this. I'm going to cover now just as I have it pulled up. We're going to talk about R units for day trading. That's how much you're willing to risk. So say it's 100. Our goal, our particular strategy is we risk 1 R to make 3. So you'd risk 100 to make 300. So that's the example there. So the reason I say R unit is everybody's size is different there, Eagle. So that's why I'm talking kind of to you here. If you're risking $100, then you have to, if you set a 10-cent stop, then you want 1,000 shares. If you set a 20-cent stop, then it's 500 shares, 40, you can follow along with the math. But where we set the stop, and I'm going to say, hey, you're going to need a 50-cent stop on this stock, then you're going to go, okay, well, 50 cents, I need 200 shares if it's 100. So you basically, you take the trade and you put your stop in almost immediately. Okay, that's enough on the trade this morning. We will get more to that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and look at the TD Ameritrade screen, which you can see this is the S&P 500. So it's the SPY that you see charted. Obviously, a lot of green candlesticks, more than 2/3 green there in the past couple weeks. And of course, today setting up as a big green day as well today. All right, over to the Qs, show you how the Qs are doing because it's kind of crazy how far. And then again, just going higher today, 282. Again, this huge uptrend. You can't argue that that's a V. Of course it is, but that's just going higher, and that can't last forever, so be prepared. But I just did want to show you that. Okay, back to the SPY, and then we'll go into, here's what the SPY looks like in the past basically 5 days. So the blue part here is the darker blue is when the market is open. The light purple is when the market is closed. So you can see Friday, nice big green up day, and then of course flat, which is common on Friday afternoons, just kind of fade into the week. And then we have the big pop this morning, largely led by an upgrade to Apple, which is up to 520. Berner, I just saw you joined. Good morning. All right. New squadron member there. If you're catching up, Berner, we have Eagle with us this morning. As far as this is where we go over our different excuse me, not dividends, but earnings. This morning, a lot of dividends playing out. As far as the earnings that we have, Monday morning's a little quiet just because people are still waking up. So most of our earnings are going to be this afternoon. So nothing really to talk about here. We'll go over to sharing out the CNBC screen, and we'll go around the world real quick. All right, there, that should be popping up for you. We'll hit refresh while I'm talking here. You can see there's our futures. Futures are up big, and largely that's Apple is up big, and then I'm looking over a different screen at Tesla. Yeah, of course, Tesla's going to be up 3% as well because that's what it does every single day. It's up over 2,100 now, which is insane. I did see a chart of how many cars Tesla makes versus like Toyota, and Tesla didn't even register at the bottom of the chart as far as how many it makes. So I think less than 100,000 cars last year, while Toyota made like 2 million. It's kind of crazy. But Tesla's the largest automaker in the world now. All right. Okay, so there's our Dow futures. Again, almost 1% up across the board. Go over to Europe, almost 2% across the board when you look at the European markets. Over to Asia, not quite as optimistic, but still up across the board, lots of green. When you look at last Friday, again, a nice big up day. VIX settled into around 22. Again, that's going to stay low again today unless there's a reversal in the market. Bonds have not moved all that much, so nothing to talk about there. Oil, after being a little bit red next week, has stabilized, going up here in price. And when you think of, hey, 2 hurricanes in the Gulf, think of a lot of those folks are shut down now. So again, that also helps increase the oil price slightly because you have that reduction in output there. So there's that little blurb at the top, but that's why you can think about that. Then lastly is your precious metals. If you didn't catch I did a Bitcoin thing on Thursday night as far as when you would use Bitcoin, and you could use Bitcoin as a long-term hedge like precious metals. Again, it's a thing. It doesn't make a product or a service. It just is. But if you're going to buy something, you could track higher. And I actually wish they would put a little Bitcoin thing over here. You could, because I think that's the best way to view it, is as a store of long-term value, much like a precious metal. You can see everything's pretty much up across the board there. Silver up to 27. Very nice. All right, go back to our main screen and take a look at some of the headlines. There again, Apple leading the Dow higher. If you didn't see the story, it's kind of interesting. Kellyanne Conway and her husband, both vacating their posts. They're on Sunday yesterday. Their 15-year-old daughter blew up Twitter, basically taking a soap opera onto Twitter about both parents. And yes, they both quit their jobs to deal with their daughter. So pretty happy with my daughter's not blowing up Twitter, so I have to quit my job. So that's just funny story, though. If you want to read it, you should see some of the stuff that she says there. A bunch of predictions about the market and how it will react. If you want to read through these, that's fine. I think 15 of them said Biden would win, 5 said Trump would win. Either way, only a couple scenarios where the market goes higher, and if they, they said, 5% maybe. Well, that's what the market did last week. So I mean, and that's what they're talking about. How's that going to move the market? I'm a little bit bearish on the election. I do think the markets will start to trade lower going into the election, and then I think they will trade lower after the election, especially if there's a Democratic sweep, because we need to see the tax reform to be able to reset the foundation and to move higher from there. So I do not think it's a world is ending scenario if it's a Democratic sweep, like you may think politically, but for the markets, yeah, I think they're going to sell off. And then, of course, the Trump situation, if he would win in a landslide or if there's a contested election, I think you're going to see the market sell off again while we talk about the implications for China. So again, doing all the right things with China, of course, that affects supply chains, a lot of different companies out there, including Apple, if we take it to China even more than we already have. Yes, nobody can explain why Tesla's stock up here compared to how many cars they make. It is literally insane. Theaters are starting to open again to like 15% capacity, so 2 rows in between. And if you've been out and about, you see the stuff that's taped off. So yeah, they're going to start opening. So we shall see. At least it's a move back to normality, if you will. Yes, Kanye. I don't think Kanye can win anymore. I did see that he officially listed under the birthday party for his, again, that's in the chat that I'm talking about, for his political party was the birthday party. So you can tell how serious he is there. All right. Yep, California wildfires, man, this is bad, bad, bad stuff. California is burning up. All right, that is all I have there. We're going to switch to our long-term topic of the day, which is just going to be Apple. I did see a Q&A pop up. Does Apple show trends after their big launches? No. So here's the Apple trend there for you, Predator. It's a good question. So Apple, the stock tends to run up as the new iPhones come out. So again, that's September, October, November, whenever there's going to be a release date for the iPhone 12. I have not seen it yet. So there, I see you throwing out October. I think that's a pretty good guess because I'm going to get one. So, whenever that happens, you'll see the stock run up until the product release, which will be, a few weeks at least before you can actually get it. But they will have a big release. I will watch it live. Again, Tim Cook will get up on stage and do a big, here's all the new features we have. Lots of yay, yay, yay. Well, the stock runs up to that. Once the details are released, it's a buy the rumor, sell the news scenario. The stock sells off after that because everybody starts poking holes in what it can't do, right? So bunch of nonsense about how this is terrible, and then the stock sells off until Christmas. And then when we get your first quarter earnings, in the first quarter of 21, when you get your fourth quarter earnings, you will see that iPhone sales blew out all expected numbers. It was the most popular Christmas gift out there, blah, 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 blah. We go through that cycle pretty much every time. So you can expect that it will follow that this time around as well. So we shall see. But good question there. All right, took that down, cleared that out. Again, put your questions in as you come up with them. So here's your big stock, including this is actually Friday's move. Okay, so that's Friday's move. It doesn't even account for today's move, which again, it's trading up at 515 is what I'm seeing there. So kind of crazy for Apple. I was trying to get everybody to do 1,000 shares of this a long time ago. So yeah, that means you have $500,000 sitting in Apple. That's why we're going to talk about when to sell a stock. But taking a look at the overall numbers, again, red is bad, green is good. Even as high as the price is, you're still looking at very realistic scenarios as far as the price to earnings. Obviously, your overall market's going to be around a 19 PE, 20 PE. Tech firms tend to trade up generally into the 30s. Some trade into the hundreds. So we shall see. But if you look at Tesla's PE, it's over 1,000 now. So yeah, that's just not, that's insane, insanely overpriced. But for Apple, you know, I wouldn't necessarily go out and buy a bunch of Apple here, but I will tell you this, if you buy it today, it's going to be higher 20 years from now, right? May not be higher 20 days from now, but it's certainly going to be going higher long term. So just things to take a look at. Then, of course, here's your returns on the year, which have been absolutely fantastic. And the short float that I always talk about, again, nobody's getting in the way of this steamroller, unlike Tesla, which is like 10% short and getting more short every day because now it is in the bozo sphere as well. So, all right, let's go ahead and switch over to the Schwab Data Center or Advisor Center is what's coming up right now. The only stock I'm going to talk about is, again, that upper left corner. So that should be popped up for you now. So again, this is the run out. You see the earnings, and then there's the dividend that's right behind there. So you can see like the quarterly dividend that pops up. Less than $1 per share, but it is kind of nice that we get a little something for a tech stock. Again, a lot of the tech stocks do not pay dividends, like Tesla's over here. No dividend off of Tesla. So these are other names that I follow, but when you look at this, you know, increased volume, basically straight up, here's your March 23rd low, straight line higher from what, 220 was the deal up to, well, over 500 now. Once that opens up, you'll see it move higher. So that's all we're going to look at there. We're going to switch over to the, while that screen populates, we're going to switch over to kind of day trading mode and talk more of the short-term stuff. With the market where it is, it's a little bit tough in the fact that, you know, we like to go short. You know, we're specifically looking for stocks that have gapped down overnight, 5 to 10%. We're looking for at least 100,000 shares of volume so we can get in and get out. And again, that 100,000 is based off of, as a trader, you may take 1,000 shares of this thing. So that's 1% of what's moved already daily. So you want it in play. Obviously, if it doesn't have that, then you kind of have to wait a second for the volume to flood in the first minute of the market. Okay. So things we're looking at for the, I go through the tabs that are over here again, and Apple gapping up 3%. I don't think Apple's got enough runway out in front of it to be able to deal with on a day trade. However, let's look at Sorrento. You know, that's a name that we've talked about. It's been falling off the cliff, down 8% today already this morning. So it closed at 10:04 and it's at 922 right now. I'm looking in the upper left here. Plenty of volume, 2.6 million shares. So dropping off that'll be our one of the shorts we'll look at today, maybe even the number one because it's right in the heart of the envelope, and it's in this huge downtrend from 21 all the way down into the 9s today. So overall, that looks pretty good. NEO, Chinese EV, continues to go higher. Again, battery contracts is what's moving that stock higher. Again, that stock, again, it's almost 14.5. It was down at $2 not that long ago. Airline, American moving up, not going to touch that. GrowGen, we've been following this name. This would be a continuation if you took this in a downtrend here. So let's look at this, 17.3 down to 15. Basically, it's being dumped is why it's down here. Bunch of stuff from some legal stuff from Friday. So we'll just keep an eye on it short. I'm probably not going to take it because it's already moved down so much, but it might be a good continuation just to continue to sell off. All right, Rocket just IPO'd not too long ago, so it's got a whopping, 3 days of trading in it, and it's still going higher. So 25.89 is gapping up to 28. This would be a long. So RKT basically IPO'd 3 days ago at 20 and has been shooting straight up. It does meet our criteria. That'd be a little bit of a dart throw if you were to hop into Rocket. So don't necessarily love it, but we'll keep an eye on it. The rest of these are trading vehicles, so we won't talk about. So in this tab, again, looking at volume first, because this is going to be kind of the kicker here, is what has volume and what doesn't. There's your Tesla. So up, it's crazy, 21.27, up, almost 4% on a Monday morning already with plenty of volume. we're not taking that, but we'll certainly watch it open. All right. Apple, same thing. The rest of it is not moving nearly enough. So we'll take a look on the short side. Again, we've got Sorrento and GrowGen. Here's that GrowGen that we're looking at. Not familiar with TCDA. Let's see what we have for news here. Something with the FDA, complete response letter. People aren't liking that. Let's see. Reading down at the bottom. So FDA expressed concerns with their drug, so that's selling off hard. We'll you could take that short here. We'll put it down on our list. So TCDA, we will watch. That's a headline. Already gapped down quite a bit, but these things can sell off hard as far as biotechs. GrowGen we already talked about. The rest of these are too light, except for Novavax selling off a little bit this morning. Let's put that on our short list. Invax. So again, here is the story of there's the longer term story as I zoom out. It was up to almost 200, fell back down to 115. Again, the dark lines are trading days. So what's that, a week and a half ago? It did this huge fall after the earnings release, lost money, and continued to fall from 155. Closed at 137, down to 132. Plenty of volume to hop in this name. Some headlines this morning. Phase two. I don't know. We'll certainly watch it. I'm not in love with it, but it is moving down. And it's easier to short, obviously, or it's easier to make money day trading if you can get in a name short than it is long. That's why we're spending so much time on the short names out there. Okay, that's about it. So we do have 4 names to look at: Sorrento, GrowGen, TCDA, and Novavax to the short side. All right, switching back long. Again, looking volume is the driver, mostly RKT up 10%. We have that on our list. Harmony Gold, not going to touch a gold miner today. Fastly, not familiar with what they do. No news out. It's gapping from 85 to 90. It meets our criteria, so I'll put it down. We'll just check on it though. Sasol, if I'm saying that correctly, that's a gas and oil firm. 819 up to 868. We'll keep an eye on that as it opens. Let's see. AU is gold. We're not going to touch gold, and that's it off of that tab. And then over to the NASDAQ. Those have moved up too much. Ballard Power, BLDP for a long. Let's take a look. All right, closed at 1621, gapping up to 1715. Plenty of volume, so that's nice. Let's look at the longer term story here. All right, so this is on a big bounce. Down up to 12, almost doubled about, what's that, a month ago, and then it's been selling off, sold off after earnings, and people are buying it now. All right, let's see what we have for headlines. Gapping up, going down here at the bottom, again looking for Ballard Power to try to pull it out of this little mess here. There it is. Initiates, so it got an upgrade. So initiates with an outperform, update to a target price of 22. Okay, so it's calling back up to the new highs. So not a bad story long. That would be my second choice to rocket RKT if you only wanted to take a long trade here. Okay, see if anything else. Lee Auto. It's an ADR, so I would assuming this is China auto stock. So let's see what the House of Pain has in here. Nope, just IPO'd. Okay, that's all we got. So it's at the end of August, excuse me, at the end of July it IPO'd. up in this range, 1750. It's down at 15 and it's bouncing some, 15 up to 1573, plenty of volume. And no real news other than gapping up. Let's see if we can find it in here. There it is, added to conviction buy list by Goldman. So nice big upgrade for Lee. I may look at that long too, since I missed NEO largely. So Lee would be another name we're going to look at for a long. All right, we're going to leave the screener screen, if you will. I want to share out one more thing since we have a new member. Let's go to back to before we set up our charts. There's some resources. This is the website. If you look over here, there's resources for what's a risk unit, Excel spreadsheet. This will help you basically put in your stop, figure out your number of shares, how to day trade, and probably why you probably shouldn't, and then of course the sample morning brief. So anyhow, you can go here and actually get some more information as to what we're talking about, so you can follow it along because it is pretty quick paced in the mornings. All right, going over to ThinkPipes, we're going to set up our trading screens. See, 4 screens are going to pop up here in a second. As we go to our charts, we have our left chart, which is the SPY. This is where we watch the overall market action on the open every day. And then we set up our 3 trades. Let's see, we'll put all 3 shorts in there. SRNE on the left. We'll put, I'm going to skip GrowGen and put TCDA. That was the headline for TCDA. So I like how that's falling, and then INVAX. Okay, so we have these 3 set up. These are all 1-minute charts. Let's see, on the left side, you have a $9 stock here. It's about 40 cents of movement there. So you would want to wait on the Sorrento open. We'll wait till it opens, and then we'll try to get it with a 10-cent stop. So with the 10-cent stop, you need to move 30 cents to the downside to capture your full R unit. So that's what we'll look at there, is see if we can get a 10-cent stop. And then for TCDA, this thing's fallen off hard. You could take this right at the open. Yeah, it's a lot of risk. If you take it at the open, you're looking at probably a 50-cent stop. So let's wait on that. Let's not take it at the open. It may continue to fall, but we'll hope that it bounces up here towards 11 to see if we can get a better entry. All right, and then over here, different price points. So again, $10, $10. Over here, you're going to need probably a $1.50 stop in INVAX, almost no matter when you take it. But yeah, it's kind of on an uptrend, so we'll keep an eye on it. You would not want to take that right away, just because it's been getting a lot of either short covering. That's a $5 move, 128 up into the 133. So again, we'll need to watch INVAX, and we may not take it at all. So thinking 10 cents, 10 cents, and $1.50. These are all short names, and then we'll switch long if the market goes straight up at the open. All right, I'm on another screen rechecking the futures for us while we have a few seconds here prior to the open. So Dow's up 265, so almost 1%. S&P and NASDAQ right around 1% as well. So again, a lot of forces long, only a few things to look at short here. Let's actually look at GrowGen on our right side, since I don't like INVAX the way it's setting up. GRWG. This would be a short as well. Actually, let's go with keeping this up. So again, probably a 20-cent stop since it's around the $15 range. So I think 10 cent, 10 cent, and 20. And again, waiting for all of these before we hop into them. What we'd like to see out of the market is some profit taking out of the market and have the market just kind of continue down and sell off at the opening, but we shall see what we get. All right, 10 seconds to the open. Get zoomed in here across the board. And there's the opening bell. Again, I'm watching Sorrento first. So again, that's why you don't take something. Look at that, 30 cents movement there in that first candlestick. TCDA is kind of quiet, not that many shares. I like that. And then GrowGen selling off pretty hard, so we'll see. All right, let's look for an opening in Sorrento. Basically, 1 million shares moving hands in this first minute. So we're going to let the first minute close out. Don't do that. Don't go yet. All right, get your ticker set up for Sorrento. If it hits, if it drops below 9, we're going to take it. So it'll be 8.99 that we're going to take Sorrento if it hits it. There it is, 8.99 is the entry. Let's get this drawn in here. It's a 10-cent stop. It's falling so fast, I can't even get it. So it was 8.99 was the entry, not what I've drawn there. So our stop is 10 cents, so that is up at 8.99.909 is our stop, and a 30-cent move is down to 8.69, which it just hit. So go ahead and cop out of that trade at 8.69. If you didn't get it, just keep your if you didn't get knocked out of it and get your 3 R's, just keep that in there. That's going to continue to sell off. So again, this is our down arrow if I can draw it. And again, that what we've drawn in there is 8.69 for the third stop. So there, just touched it again. So you should be out of the trade for your first 3 R's there. Let's look at TCDA. Let's back out a little bit. Kind of light there. We do see the market selling off here a little bit, so I like that. Helps our shorts out. I don't like this move over in GrowGen. So let's take a look at our other short, see how it's setting up. That was Invax. Off 5% on the day, so opened up here, opened here, popped up, and is selling down. So there you can see how fast this can move. So it went down and touched us out of the trade. So 3 R's in the book. If you didn't get out of it there, you would have been knocked out at your upper stop there. So it can move very quickly. So what happens? It's a good point. So say you are like me drawing when it actually hits your lower stop. Ooh, the market's selling off nicely for us now. For the shorts, not for the longs, right? But that's where if you didn't have your stop in yet, because you're still dorking up with putting this stop in, that's when you just switch over to a market sell order and take what you got. Now, obviously, since it hit here and immediately moved back up, you'd probably getting filled at the 2.2, 2.3 R range. But if you don't have the limit in, then you just got to accept that. All right, Invax 132. That's a $5 move. We'll keep that up there. TCDA is not doing a whole lot. Again, we'll put GrowGen. It's not a bad entry. So moved up $5 from the open, or excuse me, 50 cents from the open up here. Dojied out. Let's take it 140, 1470. We'll take it short for GrowGen if it hits it. Again, short GrowGen 1470. What I like is the candlestick kind of cascading down. So you have that setting there. We're in it. So 1470 is your entry point. Let's go with we'll keep it up at 15. So let's go with now let's tighten it up to, let's go with a 149, 20 cent stop on this. That's kind of a close stop, but we're already up for the day on the first trade. So we'll get one in here, and then it's got to move 60 cents to the downside. So 1410 is what we're looking for as far as the move down. So get ready for 1410 since it just did that nice move down there. Getting better at drawing arrows. So if you have time, you want to put it in 1410 as your as your lower stop, because that's what we're looking for. 1450 is our first R. 1430, second R. And again, market's selling off nicely for us, so we'll see if that continues. We're 5 minutes into the open. All right, we'll just let that cook. Again, we're in it here at 1470. Worst case, you get bumped out for an R, no big deal. All right, so those were all shorts. Let's look at RKT. This was a long. See how it did at the open, up 14% on the day. So yeah, this is a nice setup. Again, I would not have liked to, I don't like taking things long if we can help it, but sold off. These are dojis down here. And then that'd have been tough to catch. You'd realistically long, you'd have to enter once it clears this area of congestion around 28.66. But nice move up there in Rocket. Let's see what Apple's doing, since Apple was kind of the topic of the day. Okay, yeah, it's going to trade in here until the split probably on Monday. Remember, officially it goes down Friday, but Monday is when generally you'll see that. Just glance over to GrowGen again. Again, we're holding out for 1410 for the move lower. So have that set up in your tickers to knock yourself out of GrowGen and capture that gain. All right, so back to Apple. Yeah, I could see Apple trading above 500 until the split, and then I do think it's going to have to sell off after the split. Obviously, at $500, that'll take it down to 125. But I think there's going to be a lot of profit taking there. But then again, it's Apple, so who knows? We shall see. Another one that says who knows is who's buying Tesla today. See how Tesla's reacting. So again, let's see, dropped all the way down to below 2,100, and then people started buying it from there. So, wow, crazy. Also following the same split math, it's 5 for 1, recording today and then splitting the next Monday. So, all right, this keeps bouncing off of 1420. If it hits 1420 again, I would say kill the trade instead of holding out for 1410. That'd be a 2-hour, 2.5-hour trade. So kind of keep that in mind. It's your call. I would kill it at 1420 though, just because it keeps bouncing off of that. So why do I say that? Again, if there's an institutional buyer out there like a Goldman Sachs that has set a 1420, you would see you'd see these coming down here, and every time it hits 1420, it's going to bounce. So we wouldn't want to be greedy. We would just say, okay, I'll take it off at 1421. So let's go ahead and keep an eye. Market continues seeing some red out of the market. Let's look long here. Some more. We had FSLY, Fastly. We'll take a look at. Again, on the right pane, we're looking at longs. We're not taking these trades. We're just watching. Okay, so that would not have worked at all. So it gapped into the 5s, met our numbers, and then it's been selling off. I would not touch that for going higher. SSL. Sasol, our energy firm, again gapped up and just solid selling, so that would not have worked. Again, that's the market bringing these names down, if you will. All right, and we also BLDP. LDP. It's another name we've looked at for the long. That would not have worked either. If you took that at all, you'd be back out of it. Again, the strength of the market selling off slightly is too strong. Let me recheck the overall market. So yeah, we were up at 1% across the board pretty much at the open. Now we're down to 0.6 on the Dow, 0.7 on the S&P. NASDAQ still going higher though, up over 1% there. All right, let's see what other names we want to take a look at. Blink is a name that's kind of been in trouble recently. So screens are flashing here. All right, let's look at Blink. Blink is again a battery firm, EV battery firm. We've shorted it a couple times. That's why it's down here. It's actually up on the day, so not bad. Plug, PLUG, is the competitor for it. Plug selling off. All right, we'll have to look a little bit later and see why that is. Let's get zoomed in on the chart here. You can see some strength coming back into the market. We're still in this trade in GrowGen. So again, we entered here at 1470. A lot of congestion here. I kind of like that, to be honest. No real strength as it continues to sell down. Again, you could take it off here at 1420, or you could hold out for 3 hours down at 1410. It's profiling like it's going to hit that 1420 at least again. All right, plug we looked at long. Let's see, Shell is another EV name. Up 7% on Shell. That's not bad. Again, they had some negative news. Some short sellers are after them. So I'm not in Shell long anymore. So if you look at what happened to Shell, it's not what I meant, 5 days. So yeah, let's go out a little further, 20 days. Nope. Yeah, it was Blank. I'm sorry. Blank had that, not Shell. So disregard that last comment. All right, let's get back into a 1 day, 1 minute. All right, so we're 10 minutes into the day. Here's our trade hanging out here. Let's get back zoomed over there. So yeah, so here it's going to come down, probably hit that 1420 again. If you need to get going about your day, you can kill it here. You're up over 2 hours, and then plus we had a 3-hour trade here. You could see how that's still selling off. So there, to click below 1420, 1410 would be our full 3 R's. So I'll hang out for another second to see if it hits that. All right, let's close out the chat. All right, Eagle, hope you enjoyed all that. This will be out on replay. Again, you guys, there's 1410, so there's our 3 R's on GrowGen. So, this is the drawing. Anyhow, lost the pencil there. So anyhow, 2 3-hour trades. You can see how the trading short is better than trying to trade long. Okay, so again, Eagle, change your name for tomorrow to whatever you want when you log in. Kanye, we already talked about. Let's see, 2 movies over one. You went to 2. Unhinged. Okay, I saw that came out. It's Russell Crowe, right? Yeah. What was the? If you got a chance, Predator. How was the movie experience? Was it back to normal, or is it just like normal with hardly anybody there? So, all right, yep, there you go, like normal. All right. Well, thanks everybody. We'll close up a little bit earlier here. So again, where is the market going to go back long? If you look, our screen is actually just kind of going back long on the left-hand side there in the SPY. You can see 0.75% up. I do think the optimism of Apple and Tesla are going to keep the market from selling off hard this week, but we'll see. We are way overdue for a big red day. Don't get excited if we give 2 or 3% back in a day. It's going to happen. And those are the days that we're going to get those even better looking short trades. So anyhow, keep staying nimble out there. All right, that's all I've got for today, and we will catch you guys tomorrow morning. Thanks again. Bye.